In our last video, we published the budget as of March 10th of 2023. This was the variance analysis, sensitivity analysis that resulted from that. You can see here's our variability of yields and our variability in prices. In this current video, I'm going to show you how to roll forward in time, so allow the model to update, as well as to finalize yields when a crop is completed. So what we're going to do is go to farm specific data, and we're going to edit that, and recall that we had this model date set March 10th of 2023. If we wanted to roll forward, I'm filming October 30th. If we wanted to roll forward to October 30th, all we would do is uncheck that box. But I would like, for purposes of this video, to show you an interim step, and let's roll forward to August 10th. So we're going to roll forward in time to August 10th. Well, what's happened between March and August? We know that prices will have changed, harvest prices. We also know what our wheat yield is because we've taken our wheat crop off. And let's assume there aren't any other changes to our basic assumptions. So what I'm going to do is roll forward. By doing this, I'm going to hit update, and now we've rolled forward in time to August 10th. And now we want to show you how to finalize yields. As I mentioned, our wheat crop we didn't know what it was back in March, what it was going to be. Well, now we know, and let's assume, and this was the case in Madison County, that wheat yields were well above expectations. And in fact, were 15 bushels an acre higher. We'll change the farm yield and the county yield to reflect that. We don't want to change the baseline yield because that's what was used for calculating variable land rent. That was our initial expectation. Kind of want to leave that the same. But you want to put your final yields here for farm and county. And then when they're final, you click that box. Right, so we're going to do that, hit that update button. And now you'll see our farm and county yields are 95. And now we can look at our detailed budget. We know that we believe prices have come down, but we can look at that in the interim period. I'll show you just for corn, for example. Back in March, corn prices were in the 560 range, and in August, they're down to the 485 range. So we've had a pretty significant decline in prices in that interim period. Of course, rolling forward, we'll grab all those current August 10th prices, and so we can now pull up a budget reflective of those changes. The fact that we finalized our wheat crop, we did 15 bushels an acre higher and than expected, and prices overall for corn, wheat, and beans have come down. Let's look at our detailed budget. So this is our new budget. Recall our old budget was at 292. Well, the combination of all those events has resulted in a modest decline in profitability from 292 to 254. And let's walk through that. You can see here we finalized our wheat yield at 95. We're going to now have some yield-based cost adjustments, in this case of $3,000 because we had 15 bushels an acre of wheat above what we'd anticipated. Because prices have come down, our expected revenue for the crops are going to come down, and because we have variable land rent, our costs of our rental is currently expected to be lower than what it was originally. In the aggregate, $263 an acre, which is lower than the market rate, reflective of that variable land rent. And as I mentioned in our last video, you can also show, if you wanted to go back and get a reminder, what was our baseline budget. Well, here's our baseline budget. Recall that was 292. And we can click on this and we can see the variances. So what happened between March 10th and August 10th? You can see that. As we mentioned, we produced 15 bushels an acre more wheat than originally anticipated. Therefore, we have 3,000 more bushels to sell. So we were at 40% sold. Since we outperformed, we are only 34% sold on our wheat. Harvest prices have come down materially, as I mentioned, 61 cents for corn, 39 cents for beans, and 63 cents. So that impacts directly all of our unmarketed grain. It doesn't impact our marketed grain. Our contracted grain didn't change, but the value that we're going to get for our uncontracted grain is now down $73,000. And the realized price per bushel, which is the combination of our contracted and uncontracted, is now down. And as we look down through the budget, a couple things that are interesting. We're actually getting a crop insurance payment for corn because corn prices had fallen pretty materially, and we are at that 90% policy. So we're happy we bought that policy because we're getting some downside protection, price protection, at least if on all the other current assumptions. You can see that we have $3,000 of incremental costs associated with our wheat crop because we outperformed by 15 bushels an acre. And so we're going to need to spend, $3,000 more on hauling and fuel and the like, storage. And the net result of all that, as I mentioned earlier, is a reduction in cash flow of $37,000. All in all, given a pretty significant decline in prices, we made some pretty good decisions early in the crop year as related to having sold grain and having selected a high level of crop insurance and having introduced the variable land rent, which is saving us some money here. So that is how you go about locking yields at the end of a crop year. I'm going to show you one other thing quickly. Note that we have a $3,000 expected increased cost because we have 15 bushels an acre higher wheat than anticipated. What we're going to do here is there is an opportunity if you want to lock your costs, if you lock down your cost, to select costs are final. But that would mean for wheat, identifying all of these items and pushing the $3,000 of incremental costs, drying and storage and the like, back up through here and then finalizing it. So otherwise, as soon as you hit final, then these won't incorporate that incremental cost, that incremental $3,000. So we're going to not select final cost because we want to leave these and let the model do the work in terms of making that $3,000 adjustment to higher costs because of the outperformance in yield by 15 bushels an acre. We're going to go back to the dashboard, and now we're going to look at the sensitivity tables briefly. So on August 10th, there's our new base case at 254. The harvest prices reset to the 100% level is now the current level as of August 10th. We continue to anticipate our yields for corn and beans to be the same as they were before, but note that winter wheat is locked at the 95. That's because we locked that, so it's no longer being sensitized to yields. Because it is being sensitized to prices though, because we still have a substantial amount of our wheat that we have not yet marketed. So this gives you the new scenario if you're sitting here as of August 10th of your expected profits for the 2023 crop year. We will, in our next video, take this a step further and roll forward to later dates in the fall.